And what is up? Welcome back, guys. It is Sunday night. You are not on the Average Boys podcast. We're actually on a watch party fun thing that we did today. We just did a live stream of Last of Us season 2. We just got the comeback to the season, and wow, boys, really cool. Derpy is one of our recent members to the family of the Average Boys podcast, and he had this really great idea to do a watch party for the season. And Brian, being like a huge fan of Last of Us 2 and myself really enjoying the first season, I really think that it was a cool opportunity for us to give a really cool chance and jump into something different. And of course, give something a little extra to like our YouTube family of friends here on the Average Boys podcast. So we are specifically today streaming this directly live to our YouTube channel, like just specifically. So you guys are getting exclusive content straight from it, right off the market. So we just got done watching the season. Boys, what did you guys think? What a great entrance into this, the starting off of the second season, huh?
Absolutely. 1000%. 1000%. I think they picked up right where they left off. Again, to anyone that doesn't know, this is if not one of my favorite games that I've ever played. And I was a big fan of the first season. I think they knocked that straight out the park. And I think that they started this first episode on the same track. This is very, very game accurate. If anyone that's played Last of Us 2 will understand there's a lot of Easter eggs that they put in this episode, and they did not disappoint. I have nothing bad to say about this episode whatsoever.
Nice. What about you, Derps?
A man of few words. It was an awesome experience. Another great entry into the Last of Us world.
Agreed.
And I can't wait for next week.
Yes. I will say one more thing, as I do think that I am the one that has played game 2. I am really interested to find out how they execute this relationship between Joel and Ellie, because it's such an intricate part of game 2 that they really need to capitalize on that. It kind of sets up the entire base of what this season is going to materialize into. And from the feeling that I got from this first episode, I don't think that they are going to fail me at all. I think Ellie is exactly what needs to be portrayed in this season, because things get crazy, and they get crazy in a really fast way. And it's very important that they nail these first couple episodes before shit hits the fan, because it's going to set the tone.
Okay, good. Derpy, what about yourself, man?
A man of few words.
Come on, man. You're killing
me.
All
right. So then listen, let me set you up. Let me help you out for a second. So being that you haven't played the game, I think it is safe to say that, with our talks, that you are a fan of the first season and you think that they're doing a great job. Being that I do know that you know a little bit about what happens in the second game, what are you? I don't know how to word this without giving anything away or spoilers. Yeah, but like, do you have faith that they are going to be able to execute everything that they need to in order to achieve the satisfaction that we are all anticipating?
I believe so. Neil Druckmann is pretty good at what he does.
He is.
I just think he'll add a little bit more than what we're expecting.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, even adding on to it, like the translation from video game to story, that they're going to have to do certain kind of tweaking of the adaptation to kind of make it work fundamentally, because in a video game, you get a lot of time to be the character, run through stuff, spend as much time as you want in between certain things. Yes, the video game play does take the story and push it in the right direction, but you kind of add to it on your own and add your own flair, where the film has to kind of fill that gap of time that's spent. Because I think that was one of the major things that was going on when we were watching, is you were in a position where you were like, yo, they're really rushing through some of this, or they're really going through some of this, which is pretty crazy. I didn't think they were going to be here. I didn't think they were going to be there. Like, wow, how are they going to, those are certain things. And I see that in your position because you know more about this than we do. Like you were game, you were in it, you're really about this game. Like you were seeing Easter eggs and things that were making you happy and stuff like that, which makes me happy because, we suffer from that with like Marvel and DC and all this stuff that kind of like get out of it. So I think I've used this a lot in references when I'm talking about, my debates or arguments to sticking to the source material and stuff. Because Last of Us season 1, I think you told me pretty much like it was almost like word for word, minus the factor with the two guys' relationship, which I think they did extremely fucking well with. And I'm not even really interested in that type of storytelling, but I was motivated and they did it in such a classy way that I was like, all right, I felt for these guys. I felt for their relationship. I felt for their inclination of what they were trying to post or whatever. And I thought it was great. Thought it was classy. And it kept me, like I said, it kept me captivated. So the translate, but in that factor, I think in the first video game, when that's all going on, like you only do that in like little fucking pieces of paper. Like you don't really see that relationship kind of like bloom into this like beautiful story that they did in the live action. So like, I don't feel like they're going to drop the ball really heavy, but I understand that there does have to be some tweaking, and I respect this directing studio and company and the director and the writers so much because they don't deviate super far from the source material. I understand that there may be like some like maybe some gender roles that are switched or whatnot, or like maybe some visuals, because we saw that with Abby. I was a little bit kind of but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But
you did mention that, yeah.
But these guys do it fairly well, like, you know what I mean. And so I'm giving them a really good amount of leadway onto what it is that they're taking for the transitional movement from the video game to live action for the storytelling aspect. So I was really happy that you were like, oh dude, they got this. Oh shit, they got that. Like they were doing some really cool things that once I noticed that you were noticing these things, I was like, okay. Even the one that caught me that I thought was really cool was the way that you had told me in story when we were watching the live shots, how they implemented a tutorial level of the game and they turned it into we can put some story and use that to like, hey, let's build on how Ellie's character is a little too aggressive or too I don't give a fuck or whatever her mindset is in the game. It really kind of put it out there. They used it in such a really good storytelling way.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback off of that really quick. This story or this series is in a very interesting situation or interesting spot, because the best part about the game is that it's such a great story. It's one of those games where it's cool to shoot zombies, but that's kind of like secondary. You are so thrown into this story that it just captivates you. So the people that are making this show, they're in a situation where they have this great source material where they don't have to take liberties. If they just follow the source material, they're going to knock it out the park. And the source material alone will bring in the normies, the people that have never played the game, the people that don't know anything about this, because it's such a great story. And then for the nerds like me that love the game, they're going to throw in those Easter eggs that you're like, holy shit, like this is blowing my mind, because we don't normally get that with source material and content and stories like that. Like they are I think them making sure that Neil Druckmann is so involved in making the show was the best thing that they could have possibly done, because he's going to be able to retell his story in a great way. You have phenomenal actors portraying these characters that are very complex, and then you're going to throw in those little Easter eggs that are going to get people like me to be like, you know what, that's awesome. So they're firing on all cylinders as far as I'm concerned when it comes to this story.
Straight. So what were some things that we saw that were really, really good points of this first season for myself, I had some pros and some cons, but I don't feel there was enough cons to really outshine all the good things of the episode, right? The episode starts off and I was kind of with this idea of Ellie being this small statured human being character doing jujitsu moves against 230-pound bodybuilding guy, and she was beating the shit out of him. And in my mind, I'm kind of like, well, they're gonna give like a tip of the hat to like, oh, good job, buddy, and send her on her way and be like, oh, she's really improving. What a good student or whatever. But like, they didn't really do that too much. The two male characters were staring at each other, kind of like, I couldn't really tell. I don't know if the audio wasn't like really good, but I couldn't really tell if they were acknowledging that Ellie was just, man, she's so fucking good. She's tapping out Gordon Ryan or whatever, or fucking, like I said, Volkanovski or whatever. She's out there just choking out Patty the Batty or whatever on his fucking good days and shit. Or if it was one of those things like they were just letting her feel good about herself or whatever, just to treat her like a student or whatnot. I didn't really like that too much because, again, it shows this unrealistic nature of everyday life. And I'm not saying that I need this 95-pound asthmatic girl to like be a twig or something. I think they do very well with her hunter gathering skills, with her shooting, with her doing other things, that are already not a basic skill. Like she's doing hard labor work, and she's maintaining. But I thought it was a little too much to have her like grappling with a fucking huge guy and tapping him out and cracking his arm. And I was like, dude, this guy could literally just pick her up and fucking slam her down. He probably lifts easily more than what this child weighs. So I don't know. I don't know if
that was a new aspect of it. You don't necessarily focus in on her
strengths,
abilities during the game. For the people that haven't watched it, like you kind of pointed to it, there is a part of this first episode where she's practicing something, and that is more what they hone in on, and you kind of have that to guide you on this journey as to kind of zeroing where she is in this part of her life. But again, that's something that's new. I'm not gonna really nitpick at that. I think it's for a reason, which I kind of see where they're going with that. So there is an explanation for it, but again, that's something that's not relatively part of the game.
Yeah, and then there was of course, a couple scenes later, like a friendship / situational ship that happens, that we're kind of establishing this idea, but I feel like it's very like forced. I didn't feel like there was really like a lot going on yet that could really like, oh shit, I saw this coming kind of vibe. I
think it's because, again, don't forget it's 5 years later. So they've had 5 years of knowing like that, right? Of knowing these people, and we're just kind of interjecting in the middle of that. So I can understand where it seems a little forced, but all of the big players in this season we've already met. We've already met them, minus maybe a character or wink a group of people, which
I'll bring them up in a little bit too. I don't want to bring them up yet, but you get to meet all of them.
I'm not talking about the group that you're talking about. There's another group of people that that's pretty badass that we'll probably see. But all the major players, as storylines go, we've already been introduced to them in this first episode, and I thought that was pretty interesting that they would kind of get all that out in one shot.
I like, because I had to ask you to kind of like recap the situation that we have with Joel and Ellie, because I was kind of like, wait, I don't remember, like, why is she so aggressive towards him? And then you kind of explained it, and then of course, like the 5-year gap, it's really been cooking 5 years. And like I said, I think I made a comment about this when we were watching it, and I was like, damn, like Joel looks like fucking old, like he looks tired. And I don't really feel like the game really gives us that, but I wonder if they're doing it because of future things that happen to him, and they have to make it seem like, I don't know, like Ellie is okay on her own without him. Like he's not really doing much. She can kind of handle it. Like I don't know. Like I kind of feel like there's a reason why they're making him like with the hand twitching and like he's kind of like becoming that age where you're like the old lion. You got to have the younger lion come and run the pack, and the old lion has to go to the back now. He did his job. He ran his shit, but like he cannot keep up with them anymore.
You gotta understand something, that this is if you add on the 5 years after the last episode of season 1, this is 25 years of being in the apocalypse.
Yeah, they're fucking they're tired.
This is 25 years. So tired. So he's gonna age a little bit. He's gonna be a little bit weary. He was already losing his hearing in the first season. So I'm not gonna be too hard on him. That's 25 years in the zombie apocalypse. You're gonna age a little bit, yeah.
And I keep referencing this too. If you don't understand how that is, and you want to use another IP, look at where The Walking Dead has taken Negan right now, compared to what he was doing. Like when he first jumped in, like that shit is like he's tired. Like these guys are tired. So like like I get that, and it helped that you were able to explain to me like the situation that the story had left on, and then we cooked on that. But I don't know, I just felt kind of weird, like because again, comparing it to the video game, I never felt that Joel was that old, and they're making him seem like, oh man, like he's pushing some shit, like Walker almost level, like, you know what I mean? Give this dude a Walker with the tennis balls on it, like getting up, man. But there was that. I really enjoyed that really obscure, weird therapy scene with where Catherine the therapist is like, when she finally like told him some shit. I didn't really know what that was about, because I don't remember if that's in game or not, because that was never something that like the culture when the game was coming out would release on cutscenes. They're like, you know, all the crazy shit was being released, all the fucking over the top, like, you know, the therapist scene I never really had seen. And then it came out and you were like, whoa, what's this? This is fucking wild. Like, and then her kind of like the therapist telling him some shit. Like, I was kind of like, damn, dude, this is a weird world that these people live in. It's vulgar. It's abusive. It's violent. It's very traumatic. And these people, like, they have to live through it. And it reminded me of like, John Bernthal, Walking Dead, when he shoots that fat dude and leaves him dead, and he's like, "I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, bro." Like, and then he goes back and he's like, "No, I didn't make it," or whatever. And he's like, doesn't really want to tell him that it was his fault. But you, as a person, they never really explain psychologically how someone has to live with those type of like choices as action to leave a person behind and watch them die and hear them scream and like all the trauma that follows. And I think you said it first, that Pedro Pascal sold the fuck out of that scene. Like the moment he leaves, you're like, fuck, dude, that's harsh. That's deep.
Yeah. That is a luxury that they're allotted when you get a actor of his caliber. Yep. That scene could have just been just another regular scene that went nowhere, but you get someone like Catherine O'Hara that is amazing in her own right, and then you get someone like Pedro Pascal, and then you touch on something that you know, we all know is kind of tugging heavy at him. Yeah, that's very heavy to him. And he knocked that scene out the park. Derpy,
that was a good fucking scene.
Derpy, what were your thoughts on that therapist? See, I know we're kind of spoiling it a little bit, but like, what are your thoughts on that little
baby? This is a watch party review. It's time, baby.
What was it? What were your thoughts about that scene with the therapist?
That wasn't in the game, so
it wasn't.
I thought it was pretty cool seeing that side of Joel.
Yeah,
and it being new to, because I always like something new when it's added to something I've already seen.
Agreed.
And I thought it was an interesting take. So
absolutely, it doesn't agree.
I mean, even with that, like they don't really get an opportunity to kind of like dig deep into Joel's psyche in this whole situation, right?
Right.
And then, you know, I won't, if you haven't played the game, sucks to be you. Like, there's a crazy fucking thing that happens in the game, and if you haven't played it, I know Brian gets mad at me because he'll be like, "Yo, dude, don't spoil Starship Troopers. It's only 80 years old or whatever." But like, this is one of those moments where it's kind of hard to not talk about, but I won't spoil it because, of course, we're gonna get a whole retelling of it in the next couple of days. And if you haven't played the game and you haven't had the opportunity, you're gonna fucking live it in a different matter, but you're gonna get it in 3 days, 4 days, or like, you know, fucking a couple of weeks.
The next
or
couple
whatever.
episodes, yeah.
Yeah. So
Listen, you're not gonna
be.
be able to escape it. It's gonna be all over. It's gonna be trending, for a fact, and it's gonna be all over the internet.
The only thing that I hope is they handle it with a little bit more care. And the first episode with the therapy scene, which, like you said, Derpy says it's not even really in the game. Like, he doesn't get this opportunity to expand on what Joel is going through. You get a lot of what Ellie's going through. And then, of course, the introduction of Abby, you get a lot of what Abby's going through. It's not really spoiling anything, but she's another character that has to go through some drama. But you get it more from their perspective, minus less Ellie in the first part and more Abby in the first part. And Joel literally zero. Maybe his brother Tommy gets to, like, we get a little bit of explanation, but I think Tommy ends up being like just a supportive cast member, right? Like, he doesn't really have much. I think them introduction, they're trying to treating it as is, where Tommy and his wife are just like, they're just guardian characters right now. Like, they're just there. Tommy will make a statement. Hey, Ellie, good job, Tiger. Tap her on the head. You're doing good, little adopted daughter or whatever. Like, kind of knowing that he is a mentor in some way also and has value. So I think later on that'll benefit from the storyline when all of the shit hits the fan kind of stuff. Right. But I think it's very good. And I think it was interesting at the end when you were like, man, this is going real fucking fast. I think us getting that opportunity to introduce the therapist, and there's this whole like new psychological storytelling of what Joel is going through, that we're going to get a large amount of like real, like, because, man, dude, you guys are going to get it so fucking bad, dude. I guarantee they're going to build you such a great Joel story that you guys are gonna get fucked, dude. Like, you guys are gonna get.
I will definitely. I definitely agree. I think the whole point of having the whole therapist scene is to dig a little bit deeper into Joel's psyche. Yeah, and so it's gonna set the tone as to whatever happens moving forward. Yeah,
you guys are gonna get some beautiful fucking shit, dude. I really think so. I think with this first episode, the way it felt, the way they took it, the freedoms they're doing, I think we're gonna get a fucking treat, dude. And again, I've been fucking watching Daredevil, and I am not like all enthralled every week to watch it too much. I think it's great, but it's just like I'm expecting what was it? I saw like a meme of like the Doctor Strange portals opening up in the last episode, and all the Defenders come in and start fighting, and just funny shit, dude. Like, really out of pocket. Everybody's just gonna get shot and die, and they're just gonna show up out of the portal and get shot because everybody else is killed from the original series. I'm expecting some real stupid stuff. Moon Knight to come in for no reason. Deadpool to flip in and make a comment or two and be like, "Holy shit, is that Charlie Cox or whatever?"
Listen, I can't promise you any of that in this story, but you'll get some really cool,
out of pocket shit, right?
You'll get some really cool shit. I can meet you. It kind of makes me.
He's not even ready. He's not ready, Brian.
Honestly, it kind of makes me wish that I didn't play the game and I wasn't such a fan, because like some of the things that do happen are so cool that I wish I could just have no idea what's coming, and it hits me for the first time. But nonetheless, I'm going to enjoy it, regardless. So
what a blessing for the people that are barely going to watch.
Absolutely,
like, you know what I mean? Because and this is what we always hope for like the Secret War shit and all the stuff that we talk about in the comic book realms on the other podcasts that we run, before this, and we do our whole podcast thing. We always talk about how, even though the IPs do change in some way, like, we kind of coerce people into telling them, like, go back and check out the original shit, because you're going to be way more surprised, dude. Way more surprised. Yeah. So I got to talk about, and the other thing, elephant in the room, I'll bring it up right now. Abby. It was so surprising that they introduced her at the very beginning of the episode. I thought it was going to be like, I thought they were going to take their time in introducing this character, because Abby's character comes with a lot of like drama and trauma with all the original people that really love this IP. Like it was a whole shtick, guys. This made national news on how this character was received by the fans. Like, just me putting that out there. That was like the Hell Hydra Captain America moment for Last of Us 2, right? Yeah, it was super crazy they introduced her. I'm gonna come out already and say it. Not a big fan. I don't like the way the character looks right now. She doesn't really give me that overbearing character that Ellie's gonna have to deal with later as an antithesis or as an antagonist. But she looks a little too petite for my liking compared to what the video game gave us. Kind of feel they could have given us someone else a little bit more, track star, maybe shot put, maybe CrossFitter. Like, but they gave us someone that was like right out of Sunday school church, like very tiny. But I want to ask you, and then I want to get an idea from Derpy. Me not being super big on the story, me not needing any specific character, they could have done really anything with it, and it wouldn't really affect me because I'm gonna just go into it.
Yeah.
You guys, invested time, invested money, invested all this stuff. Your first impression of this actress playing Abby's character and how you think it's gonna change the story, if not.
I think the one scene that we got with Abby, I think she knocked it out the park acting wise. It is very obvious, and you can't, if you play the game, you can't really get around it, the size difference. It plays a part into the game. But listen, I'm not gonna hold up too much on it, because I think that if you give Abby the fire, if you give
just her
enough,
actions alone, the things that she does,
if you give her enough of the fire and the animosity that she has, I won't spoil why she has this animosity towards certain people, but if you kind of intensify that kind of makes up for her ambition and her goals and just how driven she is in this story. So I can look past the size difference. It is something that is glaring to me, but you can make up for it. I'm gonna be just totally honest with you. I'm probably gonna be giving this show a lot of bail on a lot of things that I probably wouldn't on other shows or movies, because of the people that are involved. I have faith that they're going to execute. So I'm gonna give them the opportunity to do what they need to do.
Okay. Derpy, what about your opinion on the situation?
It is 1 a.m. I'm just trying to wrap it up.
Yeah, it is.
No, we feel it, man.
So let this be the last point. So what were your thoughts on Abby and the size difference, really quick?
Yeah.
I didn't see a problem with it.
Okay, so you're cool with it so far?
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Okay.
So far. I'm not. I mean, it depends. We'll see how it goes. 'Cause I wasn't a fan of Ellie when they casted Ellie, but we'll see how it goes, and she turned out perfectly. So.
Well, I mean, you guys have more investment. You guys have more real feeling and emotion tied to this. If you guys are okay with the way that they're taking it and the way that they're going and who they chose, I got your guys back in this. So if you guys are cool with it, I'm cool with it. I'm ready for the chaos, dude. I'm ready for the fucking chaos. I know for sure that the story is going to be wild. So and like Brian said, I think, I mean, of course the size matters to what the story was, but I think like from what it looks like, the actress still is bigger than the actress that plays Ellie's character. Yeah. So we're still going to get like, a little bit of height difference and stuff. That kind of works. It's okay. But I think 100% it's her actions that are going to rile us up, that are going to still get us to hate this fucking chick, right? Like we are supposed to hate this chick running. So like,
and not to mention, just one added fact, she is a Firefly, so she knows how to handle herself. So
Yeah, she's a warrior, right?
yeah,
Like warrior class Firefly. Like she's out there. She's out there in the cusp of it. So I think the body, because that was also, when we remember history wise, the way The Last of Us handled it, that was literally one of the biggest problems, is people complained that she was unrealistically big. So this is literally the director going, hey, you know what? Well, I listened to you guys. I'll make her a normal person. I'll make her a normal size chick. So let's see how that goes. And I wonder if people are going to hate it because of it. And they get, you know what I mean? Like, that's wild for them to be like, nah, she should be big. But then when they were all like, nah, she should have been small. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if we're going to get this like very, very weird change of pace in the argument. But great start off, fucking hit the ground running. Really enjoyed the show. Can't wait. Derpy, when's the schedule for the next episode?
The same date, next Sunday.
Next Sunday. So more than likely, is this something that we at the Average Boys and the Derpy Entertainment crew are going to be sticking with? Is this something that for this season?
I think we should.
You think it's going to be cool for us to do like a? I liked it. I really enjoyed watching.
I had fun.
You guys,
I had
man.
a lot of fun.
I liked watching Brian freak out on that jump scare, man. That was real funny, man.
It was good.
That was real funny.
It was good.
So, Derpy, are you down for this every Sunday then?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So, you guys, you heard it here. Thank you for all that tuned in. Next week, we're going to do the same thing, watch party after the Average Boys podcast. We're going to jump right in. We'll probably do, unless like a million things drop this coming week, we probably will not do a 2-hour show. We'll bring it down to the hour and a half like we did, and really give you consolidated nerd news, give you our points of view. Of course, what Doomsday, Secret War, all that shit that's really popping off right now. That's really going to be the big thing. And then Thunderbolts. So I don't think there's going to be a lot going on except Last of Us. And this time, instead of us waiting, Brian's fucking excited. Instead of us waiting a whole week to recover, we're right on it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Derpy, thank you so much for setting this up with the super fun. And guys, don't forget, next week, Average Boys podcast, Sunday at 8 p.m. We're going to go right into the watch party at 9:30, 9:40. Around that time, we'll take you to another app, which we just did, which worked marvelously. And then we'll stream to our Twitch for those that can't make it or whatever it does, just so we can help everybody get to it. And then we'll jump right back on here and give you a solid, honest review. Last of Us Season 2. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate every one of you. And thank you guys so much. Laters.
Peace.